Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Return to Monkey podcast. I'm Nolan, your host. This is...
Tim.
And Spencer.
And today's question is going to be superhero or supervillain? And if so, what power? Timmy?
Well, I'm going to say super neutral.
That might be the worst fucking answer I've ever heard. I heard you talk, because we talked about it a little bit off the podcast, but I literally... What does that mean? Because I think
there's no such thing as a hero or a villain.
Timmy over here, there is no black and white. It's all shades of gray.
It really is, though.
Fair. Dude, it's Well, that's the whole idea behind you either die the hero or live long enough to become the villain.
Even aside from that, though, when you're a hero, you're still just serving yourself. You just for your own self-satisfaction.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Batman doesn't just stop criminals because he is like, it's probably the right thing to do. He does it because somebody killed his fucking dad.
It's very rare that I use this argument or this defense, but Batman fights crime because he didn't go to therapy.
Yeah. Well, what about Superman, though? He just kind of showed up from another planet and was like, it's time to fucking fight. What are superhero villains? That's Superman villains? Dark side. Yeah, dude, he showed up to fight the fucking evil billionaire, dude. He showed up to fight fucking Elon Musk.
I was going to say, he showed up to fight Elon Musk.
But even then, he's doing it for a purpose, and it's probably just because he likes doing it. He feels good about himself.
Yeah. Dude, do you think fucking Superman is just actually the embodiment of, the normal, the everyday Joe fighting against corporate America?
I don't know if we can call him an everyday Joe.
Oh, I meant,
on his planet, maybe.
Well, it's like he has the strength of, 1,000 men. So, it's like he'd be, a bunch of people combined into one. That's why I was saying he's, the amalgamation of, all of the everyday Joes.
I don't think 1,000 everyday Joes are immune to bullets, though.
Well,
listen, you want to try to shoot through 100 people and you line that up, I don't think it's going to make it through.
More bullets.
Yeah, more bullets, yeah.
There are more bullets in the United States than there are people, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure there's more guns, too.
Yeah, there's also more chickens on the planet than there are people.
Which, if you think about that...
twice.
Well, you know what's crazy about that is the fact that even though there's that many chickens, the ant population still dwarfs us.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, by, fucking 30 times the size or something like that. It's insanity. What are these chickens doing? Are they even fucking... Imagine not doing your job. Anyway, so what would your superpower be?
No idea on that one, really.
No? Well, okay. So what... Okay, I can't even ask you that question because you don't know what your fucking superpower would be. All right, what would your... Okay. Why don't you give me...
You're not going to like my answer much better.
If you say super neutral, I'm going to fucking...
No. You. I'm going to say super morally gray.
Fuck.
Because, I would lean much more towards, the superhero aspect. In the end, yeah, I'm a nice person. I try to make the world a better place, and, while I think it was something you brought up when we were talking about it the other day, if you had superpowers, why would you go out of your way to help somebody else? I wouldn't actively go, looking for trouble, but
yeah,
if I saw it, I'm gonna help. It's just who I am.
Yeah.
Even to the point of, maybe in an extreme case, I'm willing to say I'd be self-sacrificing. But where I draw the line, kind of, is, it's a quote I've seen a couple of places, and it's aimed more towards, I think, romantic relationships, or I guess just relationships in general. It's framed as, remember that a superhero would sacrifice you to save the world, whereas a villain would sacrifice the world to save you.
Yeah.
And that's where I draw the line. Because while I may try to make the world a better place and even be sacrificing to a point, if you fuck with somebody that I care about, there will be hell to pay.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's where
that's even the that's the plot for I think it's Injustice 2, Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So the plot for Injustice 2 is the Joker kills Lois Lane.
I thought that was the first one.
Oh, it might be the first one.
Because I started reading that comic book arc and I just never finished it.
The Joker literally kills Lois Lane, and fucking Batman's just gonna throw him back into Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
And fucking Superman shows up and lasers this dude in half.
I thought he punched straight through his chest.
It might have been that. Yeah. Either way, he fucks him up.
He murks him real good.
And the Joker still gets the last laugh.
Yeah.
But he basically, and then Superman basically becomes a hellish dictator afterwards.
Yes.
I guess that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
It's basically the DC version of Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, I never even thought about it like that.
Because, it's not like it's just Superman versus everybody else. It's split.
Yeah. Which, I mean, to be fair, Batman should have just fucking put a bullet in that guy a long time ago.
Yeah.
Does the Joker have a superpower?
No?
Maybe his superpower is being super funny.
Oh, kind of random tangent. I was watching on one of those IGN stories on Snapchat the other day. Apparently it's happened in, movies or whatever, but for the first time in, an official, canonical comic book, we have an actual name for the Joker.
Oh, really?
It's I don't actually remember it. I want to say it was, Jack Oswald White. But then I was reading something, which I don't read the comics very much, but, apparently there's technically, 3 Jokers? I don't know how it works, so don't look at me.
Maybe it's like Robin's. Oh, well, I guess Robin turns into Red Hood.
That's one of the Robins.
Yeah. And then there's the one that turns into Nightwing.
The first Robin, Dick Grayson, became Nightwing. The second Robin, I believe, was Jason Todd, who
gets tortured by the Joker,
yeah,
right?
gets tortured, and Batman thought killed by the Joker, and eventually becomes Red Hood. Then you have Red Robin, which was Tim Drake, I believe, who, funnily enough, he actually figured out by himself Batman and Robin's identities, and that's why Batman basically recruited him.
They picked him, yeah.
And then later on, you have Batman's biological son, Damian.
Yeah. Which one of them turns into Red Hood?
I just said Jason Todd.
Oh, Jason Todd? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He's not even a bad guy, dude. You even get to play as him in the new Arkham Knights game, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's fine.
But the thing that's fucking funny about it is, this man is literally just fucking shooting people. I don't know if you knew that about Red Hood. This dude just straight up uses guns. And you're playing...
He's Batman with guns.
Yeah, and in the new and he's a villain in one of the Arkham Knight games. But in the new Arkham Knights, with an S, you have to you get to play as him, and it's because they're trying to pick up for Batman because Batman's killed, and he's spoilers, and he
might be a bit late, but
it's Batman didn't even fucking like this guy. He was trying to put him away because he's shooting bad guys. Batman is literally the worst kind of version of that guy that goes, 2 wrongs don't make a right. And it's yeah, dude, this guy literally serial raped 67 people, and you're just gonna let him go? Throw him back into the fucking asylum and just be hey, he's having a bad day, man.
I'm pretty sure the earliest iterations of Batman, in the comics way back whenever they started, I'm pretty sure he carried a gun.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, he kept
That was
the pistol.
also back in the day whenever he had fucking shark repellent spray in his fucking bat belt, dude.
I don't remember the shark repellent spray.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
Yeah. No, because there's a fucking clip from, who was, Adam West, whenever Adam West was Batman. There's an episode where a fucking shark jumps up.
No, I'm talking about way before that, when it was just comics. When it started.
Yeah, because at least in the Adam West show, a shark jumps up while they're trying to fly away on a helicopter or something. It bites his leg and he fucking sprays shark repellent on it. So, Anyway, this somehow turned into a Batman conversation when I was trying to ask you what superpower you'd want.
Holy custom bat spray, Batman!
Not only does it repel sharks, it also repels bears.
Infinite utility belt there. That's my superpower.
Infinite
utility belt that just always has what you need. You'll figure it out from there.
What if,
it's just one big pocket that's a pocket dimension.
Yeah, it'd be like a bag of holding, but every time you reach into it, it's something that you need.
Exactly. Like whatever you're thinking of,
It's an omniscient bag of holding.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucked. That's like a broken. Actually, there was one other broken superpower that I did think of that was in the X-Men movie. The dude, his power is, what was it? Oh yeah, he. I think his name was like Adapt or something, but he literally adapt to survive, and his body would evolve. So if he put his head underwater, he'd grow gills.
Oh yeah, that was in. That was in like the first reboot, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he dies like within like 10 minutes of being shown. So like his, I can't. Who did it to him?
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
There's this one character, and she like, it's either she or he. I can't remember what it is, but she like puts this fucking, like this orb in his mouth to like try to kill him, and his body starts turning into stone, and then he just fucking explodes. And he just dies. Like he like literally couldn't evolve to it.
No.
But
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen that one.
yeah. So what superpower would you?
First Class. That's what it was called.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you got it.
I don't know. I wasn't prepared for that one.
You weren't prepared for that one.
No, I was prepared for the superhero, supervillain. I wasn't prepared for the power.
I'll stall with there's no good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, you're always going to be on the bad side to someone.
That's literally Aristotle's argument, by the way.
Well, yeah,
Did you know that?
You're always the villain in somebody's story.
Well, no. His argument is basically everything is good. Kind of the idea of like, mostly people think suicide's bad. Shut the fuck up! Don't say anything. But Hitler killed himself, and nobody would consider that bad. Like that's like the general like. If you had to pick an example, that's a good
maybe
one.
his family.
Well, they were also dead. So
Okay, fair enough.
yeah. So they probably thought it was bad.
But, like, doing what's good to the general populace isn't always what's good.
Right.
Isn't good to everyone. There's always going to be people it's bad to, even if the people that disagree aren't bad.
Batman literally locking up a drug dealer because he was trying to provide for his family.
Yeah, like some people would have an objection to that, at
Yeah.
least depending on the drugs he was selling. Like,
I mean, it's definitely an argument that's been
and then like
talked about in various comic arcs. And
especially
settings.
when saving people too, you come across like trolley problem type issues all the time.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. The Incredibles, where they literally got fucking sued.
yeah, because he jumps out the window to save the guy that tried to kill himself.
Yeah, and then I think there was another one where he stopped that train and like broke everybody's neck or something.
Yeah.
Which, funny thing that I think is actually kind of cool. I think it was the Man of Steel movie. There's some scene, and I only know this because I saw the clip, where Superman does the equivalent of like Mr. Incredible jumping and saving a guy, but he actually barrel rolls in midair so as not to give the guy whiplash.
That's actually cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think a good question to follow that up on too, like with the whole like good and bad thing, where it's like pretty gray, because somebody's obviously going to be butthurt, but like the idea, right? Okay, so let's just say because one of the big comic arcs for Superman, anyways, is like the Dark Side invasion, where Dark Side shows up with like his whole fucking army. He's basically Thanos, but
Yes.
or even that one. The Thanos one's good too. Is like, we'll just say Thanos. So like, Thanos shows up, like he sends his whole army. Like say like in the first one where Loki shows up and sends his whole army and like fucking, like they completely destroy the city and it's like are killing like thousands of innocents. And then like all the buildings are destroyed and there's countless casualties. And then fucking everybody's like, yo, you should have just let them take over the city essentially because like, look at all this damage you caused to the fucking superheroes. The superheroes are like, bro, like
I see that argument presented all the time.
yeah, it's like what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? Like, they're like, yeah, man, like, you destroyed the city. Like, we should like put like superheroes should like have restrictions on them, and it's like, nah, man. Like,
I mean, that's literally the Sokovia Accords.
yeah, which is fucking stupid because Thanos then literally fucking snaps half of reality out of existence because those fuckers couldn't do anything to him. So, like,
no matter what, you're going to be on someone's bad side.
Yeah.
And there's no moral perfect. So at the end of the day, you're always just serving your own moral compass.
yeah. I think the biggest offender of that, though, would probably be, like, the fucking Hulk, though. Because, like,
Yes.
the man doesn't control shit. He just shows up and destroys buildings.
Oh no, I was watching.
Yeah.
I rewatched the first Avengers a few weeks ago with some friends after Bible study the one night. Like, we went back to their... You're probably not know who I'm talking about, but Levi got married recently, right?
Yeah.
Went back to him and his wife's apartment. We watched it and whatever. But yeah, I'm watching Hulk just like sliding down buildings, like catching it, slowing himself, like, just ripping a hole in the side of a big ass building, like
one that actually didn't have any damage to it
yeah,
prior.
like just smashing into buildings,
Which is hilarious. Because the man's fucking indestructible, so he could have just jumped off the building and been fine.
yeah.
So I still want to. That's one thing, dude. Like, I want to know how his power works because he's just like, yeah, I just can't be hurt until I fight Thanos, and then all of a sudden I just get my shit rocked, and like even though it didn't really harm me at all.
Well, like yeah, it's not with Thanos. It's more that just he got out muscled. It wasn't so much that he got hurt. Like he can be out muscled.
Yeah, but well, I guess he did get hurt whenever he used the Infinity Gauntlet, right?
Yes, but at that point we're talking about like cosmic energy.
Yeah, that's like
But there should still be a limit to it somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sure.
And wasn't the radiation like the same type of radiation that created him?
Yeah, because
The radiation from what?
the Infinity Stones. Yeah, because in the movie he goes, yeah, it's the same gamma radiation.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck?
So why is that the thing that hurts him?
More
What
radiation.
is and isn't the harm?
Sun can tan you, but it can also give you cancer.
I guess that's fair. I didn't even think about
But
that.
where's the limit though? His powers gotta have
Exposure.
like lines.
Exposure is the limit, Jim. Like intensity and duration.
Damn, bro.
Water keeps you alive, but you drink too much too fast, and your cells will hypo, whatever the word is.
Yeah, I didn't go to science school.
I did. I like science. I just don't remember the word.
Fair enough. You did go to science school?
No, I didn't go to college. You did though.
Fuck off. We don't talk
Half a
about it.
semester?
Yeah. It was slightly over half a semester. And now I owe $10,000. Thank you, Penn State. Appreciate you. Back to the superpower question, though. I would totally pick invisibility. Do you know how fucking... But, like, from the boys, like, that invisibility.
Shove a pack right up his fuck.
Yeah, but, I mean, you know how long it would take? Besides, he's, like, his skin's made out of, like, a fucking, like, a polycarbonate, right?
I think in that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But, like, general invisibility? Or the type of invisibility where you have to be butt-ass naked?
I guess I would take a negative to it and say that I'd be butt-ass naked.
Okay.
Be real fucking...
Or get, like, a special suit built like Susan Storm from Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that would be cool, because the fucking... So, you have so much utility in the world until you go to anywhere that's cold. And you're fucking naked. Like, imagine... Well, his skin's polycarbonate. I mean, I don't know. He might still be good. Like...
Chemistry, people!
Yeah, no, seriously, somebody needs to answer that question as to whether or not you'll freeze your dick off if you're in the, cold. What?
Well, just think about the guy from the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, he also gets, like...
He gets butt ass naked.
Yeah.
And there's the scene where they're in, like, the Arctic. And he's freezing, but he's not, like, dying.
Yeah, although technically if he took his clothes off in the Arctic, he probably would have died really fucking quick.
It wasn't the actual Arctic, but it was cold.
Yeah. I think it was somewhere in Russia in the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen that.
That movie slaps, though.
I honestly don't remember. I'll be honest.
You've never seen
I
it, have
haven't
you?
seen
Of course
I
you
don't
haven't.
think my family liked it very much, but
I've seen
They're
almost
back and
all the
forth
Marvel
movies.
movies. Like, I know a tiny bit about Batman.
okay.
You guys have had me lost for like half of it because you've been only talking DC and then like other things.
Well, wait. I'm assuming you mean, like, you've seen up to, like, Endgame, right?
Bit past.
A bit past.
Endgame was the first one he watched.
I did watch that and then I went back and watched through.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I technically seen like a couple of them here and
Okay.
there as a kid, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you which I hadn't.
That's fair.
Have you seen the original Hulk?
That's the only technically MCU movie that I haven't seen.
I'm pretty sure I watched it.
Dude, it's fucking terrible. It's so bad. My favorites, whenever they have, like, this other guy that's, like, part of the super soldier program, and he tries to fight the Hulk, and it's literally just a normal-ass dude. And he fucking pulls out, like, a combat knife to try to fight Bruce Banner while he's mid-Hulk, and just gets his I'm pretty sure he just gets, like, his shit rocked, like, straight up.
Sounds about right.
Okay, so you answered the superpower question. But superhero or supervillain?
Villain for sure. Yeah. No, fuck that. I mean, even that thing that you brought up where it was like a supervillain will destroy the world in order to save you.
A hero will sacrifice you to save the world,
Mhm.
but a villain will sacrifice the world to save you.
Yeah, I mean that makes
Yeah.
sense. And then too, the thing is like being a hero sounds so fucking boring, bro. Like I get nothing out of it, other than like the adoration of like millions. But like I could do that if I was a villain and I had Instagram. Like,
So celebrities,
yeah,
just minus the superpowers.
yeah, basically, yeah. No, it's literally like
Celebrities and the rich.
But it would be like, yo, check it out, and it's like a floating phone walking down a hallway with invisibility. It'd be like, yo, guys, I know you can't see me, but like, check it out. I'm robbing this bank, and there's like a floating bag of money. Like, the fuck are you gonna do?
Yeah, you'd probably get a pretty solid social media influence there.
Dude, you know how many people in the FBI would be following me? I'd be so popular.
My biggest following is the U.S. government.
Probably every government at that
Yeah.
point.
So here's another big question, right? That I've never
Mhm.
understood. So you brought up the invisibility thing. The invisibility where like your clothes also turn invisible.
Yes.
Does that mean that things you pick up should also turn invisible?
Probably.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's getting into the debate of like the way that we separate things is kind of arbitrary, and it's the Midas touch debate where like King Midas, anything he touches turns to gold, right? But would that power have to follow the arbitrary distinctions that we've made between cup and table? Like if I touch the cup and it turns to gold, the table or the cup is touching the table. So it's still indirect contact. Like, would the power follow the arbitrary distinctions that we've made between objects?
You know, Vsauce did a video about that.
I don't know who that is.
I can't remember what it was
Vsauce?
titled, but it was
Michael
something
Beard.
about a chair.
Chairs aren't real?
Yeah, I think it might have been like our chair's real.
Yeah.
It was just like it was like a pretty long video of him talking about like what defines what is and isn't an object,
Yeah.
and classifications of different objects, and
Where do women fall on that?
Oh my god.
you're gonna get slapped once the camera's done recording.
Oh, I know. Hey,
I mean-
speaking of which, honey, you had your fucking hand raised. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah.
Okay, what were you gonna say?
Well, like back to the whole invisibility thing.
Yeah.
There was a kids movie that I watched with like people who had superpowers, and the guy turned invisible. His clothes turned invisible as
Mhm.
well, and he could turn things that he touched invisible, but he had to focus on it. It wasn't just like
Okay.
he touched it and it turned invisible. He had to
I can
like,
see that.
project
Yeah.
the power.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, in a more realistic sense, like, I was using the, like,
The Midas touch thing is
the
like
Midas touch as an example, but in reality, I mean, like, there's pretty clear definitions because of, like, the atoms in this are bonded, and they're not bonded to the table. So,
Yeah,
like,
and also your
Oh, they
hand
are still
isn't.
touching.
huh?
They are still touching though.
Yeah, but your hand also doesn't count as the cup. Like the cup doesn't turn into the same properties
You're
as your
right,
hand
but it's more
because you're.
because the power comes, like, from you, I guess. Like, it's not like if it was an indirect, like, you had to touch your hand to make it gold to transfer the power, then yeah, it'd apply to the same thing. But seeing as like any part of you is the source of the power, it would make more sense to be able to touch something and affect that object.
I can't remember how does that story even end. The King Midas. Story?
I don't remember. I'll be honest.
I know like he turns his wife into gold and like
I
his
think
kids
so.
into gold and shit
Yeah.
like that, but I cannot remember like if he turns himself into gold somehow, which wouldn't make any sense.
That's probably one of my least known fairy tales, if I'm being honest. I don't remember that one very well.
We should do an entire episode on the grim fairy tales, dude.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure there are situations you could find where different people would disagree
Oh,
on like where an object ends. I like the
Yeah.
cup is an obvious one, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find situations where like, I don't know, like things that are screwed together
yeah.
are separate sections. Like
I mean, you
same
could even
object or
you could even
different
go as
object.
far as
It's
like
they're just
Yeah,
screwed
like
together.
basically if you have two panels screwed together. If you touch this panel, it's gonna make this panel gold as well.
That or like a puzzle,
Or
stuff like that.
like one puzzle piece at a time.
So in order for anything involving touch torque, there has to be a universal constant definition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
What
there's
is
not
it
in
as
so
an
many
object?
things. I mean, like
I'm
That's
sure
so
you can
fucking
find
confusing.
even more convoluted examples. Those are just like coming off the top
there's
of my
always
head.
more convoluted
Like,
things.
there's got to be more convoluted examples somewhere.
Oh yeah, no, you could touch the what's that? What is that? The drape? How those drapes stuff? The drapes?
What? Yeah, the
Yeah.
curtains?
Yeah,
Drapes?
curtains. Yeah, yeah. No, if you touch the curtains, you could say, well, am I like is one strand of this count as the drape as well?
Yeah, it's like strings or curtains. Like it's just
Yeah.
woven.
Yeah. So it's just
There
like
you go.
yeah,
Like, it's just woven strings,
Yeah. So would it be one string or would it be the whole curtain?
yeah.
or however many.
However
strings your
however
finger
many strings I was about to say.
But like,
And then you could go even further than that and be like, well, there's also separate fibers within the string.
yeah, like.
Well, and if you think about it
as
just
much
off
as
of
you want.
touch, like I'm touching the atoms in the air. Why isn't the air turning into gold?
Dude, that would be fucked up. You're just like, whoo, and it's just like gold's just falling from the fucking sky, like
Gold powder.
That'd be kind of cool though. You just
until you breathe it in.
Fucking Linus from
you're
Charlie
thinking,
Brown.
You're thinking Pigpen
Is it Pigpen?
with the dust cloud?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Pigpen.
I
Yeah.
thought it was Linus.
No,
Yeah,
Linus has a
close enough.
blanket.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's been a long time for me too.
Pigpen, this like gold cloud though, like.
Dude, that would be the coolest microtransaction skin I've ever heard of. Like, dude, who do I have to pay to get that fucking skin? I'm gonna go talk to Jeff Bezos, dude. I think he might already have that skin.
Let's skin him for it.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Didn't you say you'd lean superhero?
I'll make an exception for the fucking super wealthy.
Okay, fair.
Well, actually, you know what the funny thing is? Fucking Superman didn't fucking drop down to fight Elon Musk. He dropped down to fight fucking Jeff Bezos because that motherfucker looks like
Yes.
Luthor. He's bald, he's rich, and he's constantly doing evil shit. Did you guys think about your powers yet?
Yeah, and really anything to do with like being able to get whatever tool you need. You know, like it doesn't have to be like a tool belt. You know, like Green Lantern can do it. Fucking, I'm pretty sure there's someone in my hero that can just like pull tools out of nowhere.
See, the Green Lantern one's weird though, right? Like, is he even really pulling out tools? Because like
It's literally constructs made out of willpower.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, but he get it's.
But it's still the tools he needs.
Yeah, you get
So,
the
like,
tool he needs.
yeah.
I guess you can fly in a jet that's made out of willpower, which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool.
Okay, talking about weird. You ever think how weird it would be if like Wonder Woman had to go to the bathroom in the invisible jet?
Or
It's
if
time
any,
to stop.
yeah, or if anybody had to go to the bathroom in an invisible jet.
I mean,
really.
yes, but like it's her jet. That's why I
Yeah.
referenced the. I think I saw some sort of comic, just like homemade comic strip of like that exact thing. Like Superman was flying next to the jet, and it was her, and he was just like, "You were in the bathroom, weren't you?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Well, see, here's the funny thing. It doesn't even matter because he has fucking X-ray vision, so he can be like, "Yo, dude, I just saw some fucking booty cheeks."
I mean, you're right. Like, literally one of the stupid dark sides of Superman
It's the
is
fact
he
that,
can perv on anyone.
but that's not even. See, here's the funny thing though. That's not really even how X-ray vision works. Because like, if you can just say like, yeah, he could just see through things, like then that's different than X-ray. Because if like it's X-ray, then he can see their bones.
You're right, and that's more in the way that,
I bet that could turn into a really strange fetish.
and that's more on the way that like the comics named it than the way they made it function almost. Because
Yeah.
they made it function almost like you could see through whatever you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But the name, yes, you're right, implies using actual X-rays in the atmosphere to like X-ray a skeletons.
There's like a different concept that applies to that though. Remember you said it could turn into like an extreme fetish. So you've watched Part of the Boys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have you seen? So there's this character that fucking Homelander has sex with in the comics, and literally his ejaculation is so powerful that they explode.
That seems about right.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah, for the boys, that's about on par.
Yes. Yeah. Have you read the boys comics?
No.
Okay, I haven't either. I know whenever I'm watching it with like my cousin and my uncle that I look up random things and like.
Have they read it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm the one that told them it was a comic. Like, no, they just found it on Amazon, and so whenever I'm over there, I watch. That's really the only reason I haven't seen season 3 is because I haven't been over there in a while.
Oh, that's fair enough. Yeah. I feel so weird about that show too, because it's like I don't know if I actually like it or not. Like it's good,
Yeah.
but like I don't just go. "Man, I really wish there were like more seasons of The Boys would come out. Like I just sit down and like I'm just like, yeah, I just want to watch more of The Boys. See, I was like that.
You've got a point.
Yeah, like it's good, but it's not like pulls me in really good.
I mean, yes and no. Like, I'm anxious to watch season 3 because I still haven't, but like, at the same time, like I understand what you mean.
Yeah. How far did you make it?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
At least past season 1.
Yeah.
Completely random, but like anytime I'm down near, like heading towards Pittsburgh on like 119 down through 22,
Mm-hmm.
like in Murraysville, there's a restaurant called The Lamplighter, and every time I pass it, I'm just like, The Boys.
Yep. That man kills himself.
Yeah.
Slight spoiler, but
Yeah,
you know,
yes.
whatever.
Spoiler alert.
Always give it after. Never before. Always after.
Because we always think of it after. Like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna think of it before.
Okay, so you said you had been thinking. There was a slight time skip if you were not aware. You said you were thinking about your fucking superpower, and you said that like teleportation almost.
I guess, like,
So why teleportation though? Like that's a weird one in my opinion. Like that's not even like one of the archetypal ones.
You're right. I think for me, it's actually more of like a almost defense mechanism type thing because like there's not like I love heights. I love climbing things. So it's not like I'm scared of heights. I'm scared of falling, and so for me, it comes more into like if I'm falling, I'd be able to port and save myself from splatting on the ground.
You basically want to be able to make a save file for yourself from where you last were.
like the Rick and Morty Vat of Acid episode.
That could just be its own superpower, really. Just being able to save.
Dude, that would actually be
Oh my
right.
god.
That'd be busted.
Auto save superpower.
Yeah, well,
That'd be really busted. Imagine being able to save for real life.
yeah, well, so that'd be cool, but like I feel like if you were gonna make it a superpower, it would have to have. That's just time travel, realistically.
Yeah, it's just limited time travel.
Yeah, I think you'd have to make it so you
Yeah.
could only go back to certain time periods. Because like a lot of the times, whenever people have that ability, it's like they can only go back so far, and
Yeah.
it only puts them in that one point of time, so they can only restart from there over and over again. So you could still get put into situations where you're fucked.
Yeah.
So like it's not completely
Yeah,
broken.
but like, the save thing is still limited compared to just time travel.
Yeah,
Because you have to consciously set save.
Yeah.
yeah. The thing too that's kind of funky about that is like, so like, would that only act like? Can you only load the save when you're not dead? Because you're the one that's responsible for activating
That's
the
true.
power.
You would have to
Yeah.
activate it before
Before you
you
die.
die. So you would still have the inherent weakness of someone could just kill you before you can respond.
Yeah. Unless it was.
Like a
I mean,
sniper.
I know you've
or
watched
something.
some of Rick and Morty. Did you watch any of it?
I think I watched like the first 2 episodes. I honestly didn't like go far into it.
It's alright. I watched the whole thing just to say I watched all of it, but I'll be honest, it's kind of overrated in my opinion, but it's alright. But yeah, the Vat of Acid episode, which I've seen people say is a really good episode, it's basically off that premise where Rick makes a device for Morty that is basically a real-life autosave, but it's like a device, obviously, but where like he can press one button to like save that point in time, and if he dies, it just auto sends him back to that. But then at the end of the episode, I think Rick reveals it's something where like it wasn't actually like sending him back in time so much as it was porting him through all these different dimensions and killing alternate versions of Morty.
So then he could still be alive.
Yes.
That's
Which
fucked.
obviously,
Pretty
yeah,
Rick
just
and Morty,
screws with Morty at the end because like
He realized that he's just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
multiple
because I
dimensions
think the
worth of
reason he
Mortys.
invented it was like like, the episode is called The Vat of Acid, or the one with the Vat of Acid. I think it was called the one with the Vat of Acid off of a spoof of, like, how Friends episodes were named.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds exactly like Friends.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was spoofed off of that. It doesn't have a whole lot to do with the Vat of Acid, in my opinion. Like, that's the overall thing, because basically Morty tells Rick that the Vat of Acid that they used at the very beginning was a stupid idea, and then he wants this autosave thing, and Rick refuses to make it, and so he's like, I found something that you can't make. And so Rick makes it to prove him wrong, and then when he reveals, like, how it was working, he's like, that Vat of Acid wasn't such a bad idea, now was it? Like, at the end. Like, it's kind of at the beginning and end, it really doesn't have much to do, in my opinion. But one thing that is...
It's like the punchline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were saying about, like, limited time, almost.
Yeah.
Morty, well, he does have various ones where it's just, like, he does actually get sent back to, like, very shitty moments, because he accidentally, like, saves the moment he's being pepper sprayed or whatever, and so he keeps launching back to that. He actually has, like, a whole, I don't know how long it's supposed to be, like, I'm assuming, like, a several month-long relationship with this girl he meets, and then I think the device is hidden in his backpack, and his dad thinks it's the remote and accidentally presses it and sends it back to before he met her. Like, he had this whole relationship that just got erased because of an accident, and then he sees her, tries to talk to her, and just screws it up, and she walks away.
Yeah, it sounds about like Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that sounds about on par with the episode whenever he gets the sex bot pregnant, dude.
Oh my god. That was
A good fucking episode.
a weird episode, but there were much weirder.
Speaking of which, we totally need to play on the channel at some point the game that's being released by the creator of Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, that one with like the talking guns or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the thing from the trailer is fucking awesome. Where it's
I've
literally
seen various things about it, but like not a lot.
it's these two like big like insect guys that are like trying to sell this knife to you, and they're like, yeah, he's super fucking bloodthirsty, like he's crazy, and he's like, I just want to, and the knife screaming like, I want to stab people, and then you pick him up, and he's like, fucking kill him, stab him. Put me in him! I want to feel their blood on me! And then you fucking stab him and kill him. It's fucking...
Put me in, coach! Murder the man!
Yeah. Yeah, no, that sounded fucking sick. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean...
What I was thinking this whole time, like, yeah, again, with, like, the teleportation thing, I think another big thing for me is, like... Because there's various ways of envisioning it. Like, again, the one that... Like, I think I mentioned about, like, kind of like the short-term... warping, kind of like Final Fantasy 15. The other one that always sparked my interest was the old X-Men movies with like how Nightcrawler did it.
Oh, where you can just like wormhole.
Yeah, it was less like poof poof, and it was more like, and I've seen it in other things, but where it makes almost like a wormhole behind him, and he just like kind of sucks into it and then pops out of another one.
That would be cool.
I just think it looks really cool.
Yeah, that's actually a super dope power. Although the weird thing was, Nightcrawler was able to crawl on walls too, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I think that was more because of his weird physiology than his power.
Yeah. I guess that would, well, yeah, because...
Because, like, he had a tail. That's not human. Like, he was blue and had a tail.
Well, there was also that one guy from the other X-Men film where he has wings and he cuts them off.
Yeah, that was in First Class, too. It was basically Nightcrawler, but, like, orange and with wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Damn. Imagine cutting off angel wings, bro. You could literally start the craziest cult.
You know what?
Time.
No! Teleportation would be so cool, but I really want to be able to fly, but not like Superman. Like, I want wings. Like, yes, there's downsides. I can see the gears turning in your head.
Yep.
But, like...
I instantly thought, how are you supposed to put those away?
I have always wanted to, like, be able to fly, like, ride a dragon, or, like, if I had my own, like, angel wings, or any kind of wings. That would be so dope to me.
Okay, okay. So, if you had to have the trade-off of your arms had the wings attached to them, would you still be cool with that?
Like they're permanently wings, or
Yeah.
like the wings grow from your arms?
I meant like you lift your arms up and then it's like kind of like fucking squirrel.
No,
shit.
I know what I'm saying. I know what you mean, but like, is it always that way, or only when you want to fly?
I mean, if it was only when you wanted to fly, that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
But if it was like all the time, that'd be pretty rough, I think.
If it was all the time, probably not.
Yeah.
But like, no, if I had wings from my back, I think that would be pretty badass. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I've watched so many things and just been like, I want wings. Whether it was like angel wings or bat wings.
I was going to ask, too.
Or like a show I watched It's on Amazon Prime, Carnival Row. Even just like fairy type wings or like something like that. I just want wings, damn it! I want to be able to fly.
See, it wasn't that hard to think of a superpower, Spence.
Yeah, after we started talking about it again, like I came up with teleportation on the spot because I was like, I don't know, and then we started talking, and I was like, wings! I want wings! I want to be able to fly. Closest I've ever got, which was a surreal experience, the flight of the Avatar in Disney World.
Oh, that was
So cool.
okay. Well, do you have any preference as to what the? Okay, so if you could pick aesthetically the wings, what would it be? Because you got like demon wings, bat.
So we're talking about sprouting from the back, correct?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have. If by aesthetically, I mean like come out from under the arms. Because that's functionality, I guess. So yeah, if they came out of the back. Because
I would say probably something more akin to bat wings. Probably, just because I think like that'd be cool. But I mean, like, well, look at all of fantasy. There's so many different wing types. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a very broad question.
Yeah.
Like,
That's why I asked.
Out of the things that come to mind, like maybe I'll think about something later after we've stopped recording or something. But like off the top of my head, I'd probably say something more akin to bat wings.
Have you ever played the Legacy of Kain games?
No, I've never even heard of them.
Have you?
No.
Okay, so they're like vampire-inspired games. Like the first, I can't remember like how many of them there are, but I know in Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. So like, basically, the game takes place after vampires have conquered the entire world, and basically the way vampires work in that world is they evolve like over time. Like so, like the more elder a vampire becomes,
Yeah.
the more that their body like morphs.
Okay.
And the main character in that one, as Azrael, I think it's Azrael, who becomes a Soul Reaver. Basically, he's the first one of his brothers who's like some of the elder vampires to grow wings, and he grows like these hardcore bat wings. And the fucking the main elder vampire literally breaks both of his wings because he's pissed because he fucking got wings first, and they cast him into this huge fucking tornado that fucking rips his soul apart, and that's how he turns into the Soul Reaver, which is like this weird interdimensional vampire. Super, I'll make you play the game sometime.
No,
Really good.
I'm cool with that.
But after that happens, since his wings are permanently broken, even whenever he's revived as the Soul Reaver, the way he can't fly, but he can glide, and what he does is he grabs his broken wings and holds them.
Oh my
And
gosh.
they fucking parachute up, and that's how he flies. It's fucking crazy.
What?
Yeah. Because they're like in complete tatters.
Yeah. You know, I'm pretty sure, because that's a name that pops up in a lot of things, Azrael. I'm pretty sure that's a demon in like
No, I think
Christian mythology or Judaism or something like that.
I think Azrael is. I think it's an angel, if I'm not mistaken.
Israel's an angel.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, is that the one of Vengeance?
It might be.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure I'm linking it to like Judaism or
Yeah.
Christianity or something like that. Because yeah, it's a name that pops up. I'm pretty sure that was the name of like, I can't think of his name, but in the Smurfs, like you got the bald guy. What's his face? I'm pretty sure Azrael was the name of his cat.
Angel of Death.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then in like the Batman Arkham games, and I'm sure probably some of the comics, there's the character of Azrael. You played the Arkham games, yes?
I've only played Asylum.
I know we're losing Tim again because doesn't know much about Batman.
Like I think it was Asylum. I only played one of them.
Okay, he's not in Asylum, but in like City and then Arkham Knight, he's almost dressed like a crusader, almost like he has a sword and whatever, and like I don't remember a whole lot about him, but he's a kind of cool character. I'm sure he's probably.
Well,
somewhere.
if I remember correctly, Azrael, like the angel, has a flaming sword. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I mean,
it could be.
I'm not exactly caught up on my fucking my Bible study. So, like, if I was going to look to anybody for that answer, it'd be you or
I
you.
do believe you're correct,
That
but I
sounds.
don't know it from my
Yeah.
Bible knowledge. I believe I'm remembering it from my supernatural.
Also valid because I pull from multiple sources.
That's fair. Yeah. Did you end up finishing Supernatural, or did you just get like?
I burnt out decently far into it.
Yeah.
I know you were watching with Abby. Did you keep watching it after that, or?
Yeah, for a bit.
Okay.
I think it's a good show. It's
Yeah, I need to watch it at some point.
it's
My
so
cousin.
long.
I know. My
It's like 12 seasons or something
Dude,
stupid.
It's 15.
I think It's, like,
It's
15.
That's so stupid.
because my cousin is obsessed with it, and like she keeps telling me I should watch it, and I do want to watch it at some point. I just haven't gotten around to
So
it.
it depends on the mythos, but it is flaming in a decent few mythos.
Okay,
His sword?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And the idea of a crusader wielding a flaming sword
Yes.
being the proprietor of death
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
makes sense.
It,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah. I've never heard of that in Batman, though. That's
Yeah.
cool.
No, he's got like a. Well, actually, it looks like a Crusader outfit almost. Like it's the red and white of like the Templars kind of stuff. Yeah, he's a pretty cool character for what he shows up.
I'm trying to think of. Now I'm just thinking of dumb superpowers. I'm trying to think of like the dumbest superpowers I've ever heard of.
Okay, because I watched. I know I
There's
talked.
like a subreddit for that.
I know
Is
I
there?
talked about it the other day whenever we were discussing this topic before making the video, obviously, but like there was that video I found on TikTok of like some guy that does a lot of comic stuff and it was like useless superpowers. I don't remember what the first one he said was, but the one, it was like, your superpower is that you can give anybody else a superpower for 5 seconds.
You have to be real fucking picky about that.
You could screw with so many people. Like the example he gave was like, imagine giving somebody super strength right as they're about to open a door and they just rip it off the hinges and stare in wonder as they're holding this door and they can never do it again.
And then it falls, and then like they can't hold it for much longer either, so it just falls.
Yeah, like you can screw with so many people's day.
Oh, there is a subreddit r/bad superpowers.
Of course there is.
Well, so okay. My favorite was I actually also saw a TikTok. It was fucking hilarious. It was the guy comes across a genie that can only grant one wish, so he asks for the superpower to be able to turn any container, like any liquid inside of a container, into chocolate milk. And
I've seen
and
that.
the genie says to him, the genie fucking says to this guy, okay, well, just be careful of intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
Because your
You
body
can turn blood in a person into chocolate milk.
Oh boy. Low key super overpowered though. Like you can just kill people instantly.
You could also accidentally kill yourself.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, dude. Imagine though.
You wouldn't get the
villain.
chance to practice how to do it correctly. Pete.
Yeah, I feel like if it was as fickle as like a thought, that would be kind of stupid. Like it would have to be almost intentional.
Yeah.
Like to where
Yeah.
intrusive thoughts don't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
If you
okay, speaking of thoughts, have you ever seen the like you know how like mind reading is a common theory? Everybody thinks differently. Like some people think in words, some people think in pictures, some people in a mix, and it all depends on the person, right? So how useful would that power actually be if like you don't understand the way that somebody else's brain works? Would you even be able to understand exactly what they're thinking?
So this I'm gonna sound like a total fucking. I'm gonna say it, dummy.
Dummy.
There were so many like R words that I could think of, and then I just didn't use them. So fucking Joe Rogan talked about it, right?
Oh, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's why I said dummy. So the way he talked about it, which is what actually sounds super convincing, is the idea that you could just know if somebody was lying, because that's kind of like that's a little bit different than just straight up reading their thoughts.
Yeah.
But like it would still be thought reading, like mind reading almost. But like you would be able to understand their emotional states,
Okay.
but being able to read their direct like
Thoughts.
would be really difficult. But you could at least understand the outliers.
Yeah, that's almost like a supernatural
Empath.
empath, or I was gonna say a supernatural intuition, and like some people are really good at reading people.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm decent at reading people and like understanding what makes them tick on a base level.
Spencer, an empath, standing on the Titanic, understanding everybody's sad because it's wrecking. Like,
With the mind reading thing, I think it would just take practice.
yeah, it'd be like
Like as soon as you
I
get
didn't
the
even get
power,
to finish
you're
my
not
thought.
gonna just go into someone's head and read their thoughts. As soon as you get the power, you're gonna be confused as hell. But like after years and years of having it and reading thoughts, you'll get the hang of learning like general like common practice amongst brains,
But on the
and you'll
flip,
become a real good psychologist.
but on the flip side of what you were saying about like you're not going to immediately be able to read someone's brain and understand what they mean. If you just get the power, there's also the flip side of that of like not being able to control it, and literally everybody's thoughts around you flooding in at one time until you learn to shut them out and basically just like driving you insane.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Well, those are two different issues.
Yeah.
Being able to control the power and being able to understand it when controlling it, two separate things.
But they're both control issues. It's control in terms of
Well,
being able to
no.
control it to understand and being able to control it to shut it out.
I'm not saying control the power to understand. I'm just saying
He's saying the idea of being able to decipher the thoughts in general, not being able to control
Okay.
whether or not they
it's
actually get
like
absorbed into you.
just
Okay.
doing it enough to be like, oh yeah, that usually means that. Even if you're reading a completely new person,
Okay.
you've seen it in hundreds of people.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying control it to like be able to read it. I'm saying just reading them enough that you pick up on patterns.
Okay, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's almost like learning another language.
Yeah.
Have either of you seen the movie Constantine? Keanu
No,
Reeves?
but I want to.
Yeah.
I watched the.
He's
I watched
actually
the
also
DC
based on a.
series.
Yeah, he's also. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a DC character.
Yeah, he's a DC character.
Yeah, no,
Anyways.
I watched the series.
In the movie, I
It
don't
was
know.
only one season.
I don't know if this is a character that actually existed in the comic books or not, but I know that in the movie, so he's actually friends with this pastor, and the pastor basically, he had, like, his superpower is basically intrusive thoughts. Like, he can tell, like, the one scene is him, and it's literally, there's a huge pile of newspapers in front of him, and he just runs his hands over them, and he absorbs, like, all the information straight up, like, from all these newspapers until he finds one that is, and, like, he's able to sense which one is actually connected to demons. And then he's able to tell Constantine, like,
Oh, that's cool.
hey, dude, but it ends up fucking killing him. So, like, yeah. But his whole fucking, like, so he drinks to drown out the fucking thoughts, is basically what he ends up
Yeah,
doing.
I've seen things like that. Like, I don't know about the superpower, but I've definitely seen, like, things in Constantine. It's like, I don't know a lot about the character, but I've definitely seen, like, things where he's friends with a pastor. And, like, actually, the Sandman series on Netflix,
Oh, I haven't
That's-
seen it yet. I heard it's really good. though.
it's really good. You gotta watch it. But, like, I didn't know until I was halfway through. It's actually a DC thing.
Really?
Yeah, Neil Gaiman, Gaiman, wrote it for part of DC. Like, it's an off branch, but they do reference different things, and they actually gender bend Constantine. Like, there's a female version of her in the show, and yeah, no, it was an off brand kind of DC comic thing back in the day.
Yeah. You know what's funny is Keanu Reeves actually wants to go back and recreate that character, which I thought was kind of cool.
That'd be pretty
He said that was the number one thing that he wanted to do a sequel of.
I think I've seen that.
But yeah, it was a clip from
Yeah.
him on like the Tonight Show or something, and he
Mhm.
was like, if I wanted to go back and play a new character, like play the character
Play
again,
a character again.
I'd be Constantine.
Yeah, you'd be John Constantine.
Mhm.
Since we're talking about Keanu Reeves, have you seen the theory where, like, he's an immortal?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Yeah, where, like, all these people are, like, taking different pictures throughout history and being like, that looks like Keanu Reeves, that looks like Keanu Reeves, and basically the theory is basically, like, he just changes his name and, like, hair and beard every once in a while to, like, blend in. But the funniest thing about it, to me, is, like, when people actually confront him with it,
he doesn't. even
he's
dare
not
admit it.
convincing at all. He's like, yeah, no, that's not real. Like, he's
dude, it's
not
hilarious.
convincing at all.
Yeah, he just goes.
Couldn't be me.
He's a professional actor, so he's probably doing that on purpose. For
Obviously.
No. He's actually just an immortal.
I'm not saying I believe the theory. Obviously, he's doing it just to screw with people,
Yeah,
but I
he's
just think
being
it's
not
funny.
Convincing.
Yeah,
Dude, he's.
I just think it's funny.
If Keanu Reeves is just like, nah, dude. Actually, this person's sus. He's like a fucking imposter in Among Us. He's just like.
I think one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, and it wasn't meant to be funny. So, like, okay, growing up, and even now, even though I live, have my own place, like, we would always have, like, movie nights at my house where me, my mom, and my cousin, right? Because she lived right across the road. Well, the way we would decide on movies is, it was a weird kind of democratic system, kind of, where, like, we'd each pick 3 movies. And
Oh, so it
basically
didn't
just-
work.
That's beside the point. But we'd basically, like, each pick out like 3 movies, and then we'd eventually narrow it down to the one we wanted to watch. So I got a broad selection. It wasn't all like action movies. Like I watched a fair number of rom-coms that way. But one movie we watched with Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder, it was called Destination Wedding. It wasn't meant to be funny, but it was so stupid that we were all laughing at it throughout the whole thing.
I don't think I've ever heard of that movie.
Yeah, it's an accidental comedy that we still laugh about to this day. Because it was just so fucking like the acting was just, it just wasn't good. Like it was cheesy and cliche and just bad to the point where it was funny.
I might have to give that a watch.
Yeah, I think basically if I remember right, the plot of it is that like he and I'm pretty sure it's Winona Ryder. Don't quote me on that. But like he and
You've
her.
been quoted.
I've literally been quoted as it's going online.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
But like somehow they both end up getting invited to this like destination wedding type thing.
Hence the name.
Yes. But like, I'm gonna stop because I don't remember enough to describe it.
It's funny to this day, although I cannot remember.
I couldn't tell you what it was about, but I just remember it was like an accidental comedy is what we call it.
Okay, back to Constantine for half a second though. Think about the fact, right, that like, if John didn't fight off demons, who the fuck's supposed to fight off demons? Like in the DC universe.
Zatanna?
Who?
She's like a magician character. She's the one with like the top hat and the kind of, I don't know how else to describe it aside from like the mix of like sexy stage helper and like Playboy bunny outfit.
She's like Gambit, but in fucking DC.
Kind of like she's a very powerful magician, but like her outfit is like the like very tight black to like low cut, so you got the cleavage,
so
and then just like the U cut, so like no
she's
legs.
wearing half of a Playboy bunny outfit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. But like she's a very, from what I understand, like a very powerful magician within the DC universe.
So another character I was thinking of was Blade, but he's Marvel if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but he more fights like vampires, so it's more of like a physical aspect, right? And I haven't seen the original movies, but I want to. I hear they're really, cheesy, but like I still want to watch them.
Dude, they are absolute fucking schlock that I love.
Schlock?
Yeah, have you never heard that?
No, I've never heard that term.
Have you heard that term?
No.
I was ready for him to have heard it because you two are more on the internet than I am.
No, dude.
Somehow. No, okay, not more on the internet. We're on different corners of the internet.
What corner is Spence on? Is he on the dial-up side?
It's a phrase! Oh no, the tack. Tack snack?
Oh, dude, did you just get attacked?
Wait, that didn't fall off the table for one of us to step on later.
Yes.
No, you whore!
Yeah, no. Schlock meaning absolute garbage.
Derail the entire conversation
Yeah.
with attack.
But fucking
Yeah.
no, schlock just means basically absolute fucking like it's basically cheesy garbage. But it's still really enjoyable. Like I actually forced Danny to watch it with me, and she didn't like it. You did like it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
There's what, 3 of them?
yeah, I think there were 3. Yeah.
I think it was
the
3.
first one.
Okay. I see, like, it was weird growing up, like, it might not have been you guys, but I know I've talked with people about, like, how the things I was and was not allowed to watch growing up was so weird.
Well, I know you've told me that like you weren't allowed to play like anything over E for everyone for like.
No, anything over T. Like, I was allowed to play, like, T-rated games, just not M-rated games until I was 17. Because that was the age limit on it.
Yeah.
It's like, that was more my dad.
Yeah.
But, like, both my parents, like, it was really weird. Like, a lot of the stuff that I wanted to watch, I basically had to ask permission to watch any of them, and then they had to, like,
Vet
preview it.
themselves.
Yeah, vet it almost. And, like, while it was like that, there was a little input from my grandma on, like, my mother's side, because, again, that's, like, those are the grandparents that live out near where I grew up. Because, like, they watched a lot of movies, and, like, so there were things that my grandma would be, like, yeah, he could probably watch that. Then it'd then be like, okay, I can watch that. The Blade movies were one that even she was like, yeah, he probably shouldn't watch those until he's older type thing, so I just never got the chance to.
I mean, they're really gory, dude.
Yeah, that's kind of what they
The
said.
first fucking song in the first...
There's a song?
Yeah, well, no, so, like, well, I mean, like, for the soundtrack. Like, the first song,
okay.
like, the first song in the soundtrack for, like, the first big fight
I was
scene
like, you're telling me this is a musical?
is literally called Blood Rave. So, like, it's... Yeah, no, that's one that I would be like... I had a very... How can I say this? I mean, my parents didn't vet most of the things that I watched growing up. I remember the only thing that it was like, they were like, don't watch, you're not allowed to watch this, was like South Park, and I was like, dude, this is fucking crazy. Like, I grew up on like Aqua Teen Hunger Force on fucking Adult Swim. You know what that is?
I think I've heard of it, but I don't
It has Meatwad, who's the little like rolling ball of meat, and it has Frylock, who's a cup of fries wizard. And Shake. I cannot remember Master Shake, and it's just an anthropomorphic, like he only has
Milkshake?
hands. It's a milkshake, yes. Yeah, dude, that show was gas.
I've heard of it, but I didn't know like anything about it really.
That's another fun episode. Fuck
Fucking
it.
a few episodes.
Adult Swim shows for an episode would be great.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I haven't
Wacky ones.
Yeah,
I
there's some
watched-
really good ones.
I haven't watched a lot of them even to this day because but whatever.
Honey, if I ask you this question right now, could you give me an answer? What was the mouse show that I thought was hilarious for like 2 weeks and only had like one season? You know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, 2-ounce mouse.
Never heard of that one.
It's so good. It's so good.
Never heard of that
It
one.
literally looks like it was drawn by a 3-year-old. The animation like didn't exist. It was like everything was in like one frame. So like the mouse would be like, because it's like a stick drawn mouse, and then like it walking would be like it standing would be one frame, and then its walking animation would be like another frame where its legs like are adjusted, and then it would just
So like a very slow motion flip book.
yeah, it's fucking awesome. But like for an entire season, so there's like 20 episodes of it. I think. Gosh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that one before, but like again, I didn't watch a lot of like Adult Swim things because like obviously I wasn't allowed to, but like even to this day I don't even know what was considered Adult Swim like show wise to even go back and be like I want to watch this because I couldn't in my childhood type.
Yeah,
thing.
which is like, I mean, Family Guy, American Dad. Although those are on like Fox now.
They are. Those shows don't appeal to me a whole lot. I've seen a heck of a lot of clips
'Cause
of
of
Family
TikTok.
Guy.
Yeah.
No, not even TikTok. Those ones are on Instagram.
Oh.
Like, I see them all the time, like Family Guy clips, and like so I've seen a lot of like clips from Family Guy, but I've never. No, like out of any of like those type shows, the only one I've sat down and watched is Rick and Morty, just because like I know enough people that have talked about it, and like again, even though I'm different from how I was as like an early teenager, like somewhere deep down there's still a very techie sci-fi nerd, and so like the ideas of Rick and Morty kind of appealed to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll watch it.
Listen, the reason why I never watched Rick and Morty was because I was never smart enough. I couldn't understand the
I
joke.
couldn't understand the joke.
You know what? Valid. I was the kid that would watch like because I watched a lot of superhero shows like as a teenager and whatever. So like watching like Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or The Flash. Like I was the person that was watching it and like more or less understanding the scientific concepts and like how they were saying they should work more or less. And so like I kind of understand this type stuff,
Yeah.
but like I was that type of person.
Still, I think the funniest shit I've ever seen was when that dude turned himself into a pickle.
Yes, the joke got so overplayed. Don't get me wrong, it was funny. It was a pretty good episode.
It's so not funny.
Yeah, Spencer, I don't think you quite understand the level of how fucked up I've made that joke in this house, because
No, I don't. Like,
Yeah,
that's the first time I've heard you make that joke.
no, because okay, so literally Tim or Danny or anybody else that's ever
Yes.
existed in this house or like comes in here, they're like, "It's the funniest shit I've ever seen," and I go, "Yo, did he turn himself into a pickle?" It's just like it never ends.
I've never heard you make that
Yeah,
joke.
no, I just revive dead memes. Fucking Christ.
I hadn't heard it in like years.
Okay, then maybe that's why I haven't heard it. I haven't known you, like, I've only known you a couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, no, like I'm saying, I haven't heard he turned himself into a pickle joke in years. And
Yeah.
I just happened to say, funniest shit I've ever seen the one day.
Oh, okay.
And this was
You
recently.
just hit me with that. Like, recently. It's been, like, years since that meme died. And you just hit me with that.
And it was the funniest shit you'd ever heard.
It was
At
so
that
far
point-
out of left field.
Yeah, at that point
I-
it probably was.
I hadn't heard the pickle thing in so long that the statement "funniest shit I've ever seen" just like wasn't even attached to it in my head.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Nolan out of left field. Did he turn himself into a pickle?
And now it's funny again.
It's all it takes. And this was recently
left
too.
field.
This was
Yeah,
probably
that's what
within
I'm
like the last like month. It was just I just brought it up, and now every time I hear something even remotely close to that, it just comes up, and I'm like, yep, it's funny.
How did we get from superpowers to DC to like that connection? I understand. How did we get from DC to Rick and Morty and Pickle Rick?
Oh, we were talking about
Adult Swim because of things you're not allowed to watch.
yeah.
Yes, because we got Blade and then things I wasn't allowed to watch and Adult Swim and
Yes.
Rick and Morty and Pickle Rick. Yes, that's how my brain.
Speaking of which,
works,
what
by the way.
are there like what other movies are on your list of like things you want to watch that you weren't able to watch when you were younger? I'm sure there's some good ones.
That's asking a lot of me, frankly. But like,
All right, well, okay. What's your top 5 right now that you're thinking about?
I don't even know. Like, but like, I'll be honest. Like, things I wasn't allowed to watch was so random. Like, any of the like live action like Disney Channel stuff. For some reason, I wasn't allowed to watch it. So like, anytime I go over my cousin Ariel's house, like I saw cool like episodes here and there of things like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, or like, what was that episode about like the baby named Charlie?
Oh,
Good luck, Charlie.
yeah,
Good Luck Charlie.
yeah, Good Luck
Yeah,
Charlie,
like I
yeah.
saw episodes of like yeah. For some reason, I wasn't allowed to watch like any of the live action like Disney
They're so
stuff.
tame too. I don't understand.
I don't. If I understood how my parents worked, like
Life would be different. Yeah.
yes. But no, like there were random ass like even Disney movies that maybe it wasn't that I was necessarily allowed to watch, just that I didn't. One I know I wasn't allowed to watch, which I've still only watched the first one. I need to watch the rest of Lilo and Stitch for some reason. Like I've only seen the first one of that.
I haven't seen them.
I haven't.
For about the same reason my parents were
Yeah,
watching
no.
stuff I wasn't allowed to watch.
Yeah, our parents are kind of similar, Tim. Like
Yeah.
they're wacky AF.
Okay, the weirdest. Okay, well, you guys both weren't allowed to watch Cartoon Network, right?
I was though, more or less.
And you weren't. You were like allowed like anything that was on
like a
PBS.
password lock on the
Okay.
like a Disney Channel. I was allowed to watch most, but not everything on PBS.
We'll put it this way: early Cartoon Network, like when I was knee high to a grasshopper.
Knee high to a shit stain.
Yeah, that one too. Like I was allowed to watch kind of some of the earlier stuff, but like a lot of the shows that I watched and that I still have on VHS tapes recorded somewhere were things on. Do you remember JetX?
Yeah.
Yeah, things on JetX were what I watched a lot as like a very little kid.
I can still so whenever we had the D&D campaign, I can like that is a show that like you like awoke like some really weird nostalgic subconscious shit whenever you told me
Yes!
about that show.
Yes.
And like I knew it existed, had never watched it, just
Yeah.
like,
Which?
yeah, and I was just like, my brother in Christ, and like
Yeah.
I like this is something that I didn't know if it was actually real or not until
Taking you down a fever dream on us now. Nostalgic road.
Yep.
Yeah, no. So I watched things like Witch or like the old like 2004. Actually, I think it was made in like the late 1990s, but like the 1990s like Spider-Man and X-Men and type things. Speaking of which, because we were talking about Blade. Blade appeared in that Spider-Man. That was
He had a laser sword. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
No, he had a laser sword because he wasn't allowed to use a real. They couldn't. Okay, so yeah, in that show, and I actually just watched a video about this. Fucking funny. Spider-Man wasn't allowed to punch anyone. Like whenever they were making the show, like they had a list of rules they had to follow. Spider-Man was not allowed to punch anyone. They weren't allowed to have swords or real guns. So every gun was a laser gun.
Yes, I remember the guns being laser guns. I remember that much.
Yeah, and Blades was a laser sword
I
because
don't
a real
remember
sword would be too graphic.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, but So Spider-Man would just like pull things into people with his fucking webs, and that's like how he like fixed most of his problems. Like that's how he beat most of the villains.
I really need to go back and rewatch those shows because they're on Disney Plus.
Yeah, no, that's
Like I did when I first moved. I rewatched all of like because it was one that I remember various episodes of. I think it was like Spider-Man Unlimited, where it was like Spider-Man basically got sent to like an alien planet almost. Like I don't remember the whole plot about it, but there were all these like I don't know what to call them beyond furries. Like they were anthropomorphic animal people.
Yeah.
Like
speaking of that video, real quick, because this also has to do with two other different like
what video?
superheroes. That one that I had watched about like Spider-Man not being able to punch people.
Oh. Yeah.
So not only that, but okay. So they tried to make a Captain America TV show, right? And in the Captain America TV show,
Animated or live action?
they were going to make an animated one.
Okay.
So in the animated one, they were going to make it was going to be Captain America during World War II, whenever he was first created as a super soldier,
Okay.
and they weren't allowed to use the word Nazi or have the fucking swastika in it, even though in World War II, Captain America was punching Nazis.
Hail the Mustache Man.
Yeah, exactly.
The Mustache Minions.
And then the other one too was, I can't remember. Oh, they were. It was TMFT instead of TMNT. So
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
yeah, in fucking what's it called? Oh shit!
Teenage
In the
Mutant Ninja Frogs?
no, in the UK, they thought that ninjas were gonna like take over and like kill people. This is not a joke. I wish this was a joke. This isn't a joke. They thought that these fucking like ninjas, like everybody wanted to be ninjas, so they were gonna like assassinate the queen or some shit. Like you can look it up. It's fucking crazy. But the name of the show was actually changed, and all of the paraphernalia that was sold over there for them was switched to Teenage Mutant Fighting Turtles.
Oh my gosh.
And everything was completely changed. So like if you listen to the UK version of the theme song for the original show, it was Teenage Mutant Fighting Turtles. It sounds so fucking terrible, but like it's straight up just super stuff.
What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, we were talking about Hitler. I know I was talking about it with somebody.
These were okay. If anybody clips that and fucking makes Spence say, anyways, we were talking about Hitler, there will be hell to pay.
There was a better clip you could have gotten earlier because you said like "Hail the Mustache Man."
Yes.
Yeah, because they weren't allowed to say Nazis. I was like, "Hail the Mustache Man," and then I corrected myself because I meant to say "Hail the Mustache Minions."
Neither one of those is any better.
No, I'm not saying either one's better. I'm just saying I corrected myself because of what I meant to say. But no.
It's no longer the Third Reich, it's the Third Rank. It's like...
But I know I was talking about it with somebody. I forget where I saw it, but like, you know the reason like Hitler had such like a short little mustache?
Could you not grow the other sides?
No, it was because during World War I, he had a bigger mustache. But because of it, I want to say it was mustard gas, but I might be wrong because I think that was more like if it hits your skin, it's wrong. Some sort of gas attack. He was putting on a mask, and he almost died because his mask didn't seal right because of his mustache. And so he trimmed it down to be able to fit within a gas mask.
That's actually fucked.
He also almost died from, I want to say Teddy Roosevelt? It was one of the Roosevelts during like in No Man's Land. They were like squared off and whichever person it was had a chance to shoot him, and I think he was like unarmed or maybe helping somebody. For whatever reason, this person didn't shoot Hitler. Because he was like an unarmed, just random German soldier at that point.
This is going to turn into like a time travel discussion about killing Hitler in like 2 seconds. I can already see it.
That could be a whole nother episode.
That could be
That's a whole other episode.
Yeah.
So the link will be right here.
No.
No.
It won't, but for the meme. What were we talking about before Hitler?
Teenage Mutant Fighting Turtles?
Yeah, I was talking about the things I was allowed to watch.
Yes,
on, like,
there you go,
Jetix.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like Witch, like the like X-Men and like Spider-Man show and like
Well, it was like a rerun channel wasn't it? Like
I
they played
think-
like older cartoons.
I think so. Another one that I started kind of rewatching on Disney Plus that obviously wasn't as good as I remember it as a kid, but like I'll probably still finish it at one point was Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go.
I'm gonna run that one past me one more time, pal.
I said it fast on purpose because that's the way it's said in the theme song. It's very like almost like chibi anime style type thing, where I don't know what planet it's set on, maybe Earth in like the future, but this kid has like it's called the Power Primate. That's what it is. Basically, gorilla spirit powers and like 5 like robot monkeys type.
You tell me this man turns into a fucking monkey.
No, he doesn't, but he can basically like summon gorilla strength and like agility type stuff and like.
Turn to monkeys.
Oh my god!
It's the name of the podcast. It's the name of the podcast, boys.
They said
We
it.
did it.
They said it.
Planned all along. Totally scripted.
That's the end of it.
That's
We're done.
it.
We're done.
Cut!